Alright, welcome back to the Canadian Gun Vault. We're going to do a brief tabletop review on the M1 Garand rifle. You guys asked a lot of questions about this particular rifle that seem to develop a lot of interest, so we've decided to bring it to you and give you a brief overview of it. Some of the most frequently asked questions we're going to answer now, and a short takedown, just to give people an idea of what they can expect in terms of maintenance for a vintage collectible like this. Just to get the dry stuff out of the way, you know, it's about 9.5 pounds, it's 30-06 gas operated. You know, World War II vintage battle rifle. This is the iconic Band of Brothers piece. I mean, it's been seen in cinema over the years. You know, Roy Schneider blew up the shark in Jaws. You know, you've got this being the rifle you started Medal of Honor and Call of Duty with. I mean, it certainly has seen a resurgence in terms of its popularity with shooters over the last few years, and as a result, steadily risen in terms of price as well. You know, some of the things you need to know about this rifle. Definitely, you've got a number of different makes and types to purchase. This is a Springfield Armory. This one was made in 1943, and Breda, H&R, Winchester, they all made their versions of this gun. I understand about 6.5 million were made, and you know, just a fantastically fun piece to shoot. It is exempt from the 5-round magazine restriction, capacity restriction that we Canadians, law-abiding Canadians, have imposed upon us. We don't necessarily like that, but this gun is named specifically in the Firearms Act and is exempt from that 5-round restriction. So you can enjoy a full 8 rounds before you hear that magical bing sound as it ejects a clip out of the top of the rifle. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin the takedown process. You're going to flip the rifle over, you're going to pull back on the trigger guard sharply and straight up, and what that's going to allow you to do is pull out the entire trigger assembly for cleaning. And then to remove the action from the stock, you pull up on the back end. Sometimes you got to give the back stock a little tap, but this one's been cleaned fairly recently, so it's coming apart pretty easily. Once you've done that, you're going to pull on this arm right here. You're going to relieve the pressure, all right, pull backwards and lift up, and that's going to allow you to remove the recoil spring from the action. You're going to want to start with a clear space, folks. Definitely when you're pulling apart vintage rifles, you don't want to lose any parts. If they don't go back together correctly with all the right parts, they will not function. So once you've accomplished that, right, you're then going to take something to push through this pin. Once you remove that pin, you'll be able to pull apart the entire follower assembly, which is going to come apart in 3 pieces. So you can separate those pieces, 1, 2, 3. And you're going to move the action to the rear, and that's going to allow the follower to actually drop out. And you're going to lift the operating rod up through the track, turn it away, and pull it out. And then the most entertaining part of the disassembly process, the removal of the bolt, which on the M1 Garand can be kind of interesting. You want to pull this straight upwards, cant it out slightly, and the bolt will come out with a little bit of finagling. Sometimes it requires a little more effort than you'd like, but eventually you'll get it out. And then you've got a mostly field stripped rifle that will allow you to clean all the different parts and the barrel, and then you can put it back together by reversing the process. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop in this bolt here on an angle slightly and allow it to drop in freely. Once you do that, you're going to want to slide it completely forward, drop in the follower in that track. You're going to begin to put together the follower assembly. There is, I don't know if you can see it here, there's a small tab for a clip release that's in there. You want to take this arm and hook it in underneath that release. That will allow you to put this piece, again locking it into place right there. And then you're going to take this arm, feed it through sideways, and if you don't do that it won't fit in, and you're going to slide it into the track of the follower and then place it into the center of that assembly so that you can put the pin back through all the holes like that. Now once you've accomplished that, you can slide the bolt backwards to the rear, place the operating rod back into the gun. You're going to line, there's an arm on the bolt, into the operating rod. That will allow you to do that. Bring it into the forward position, and you can return this piece, the entire recoil spring assembly inside, apply pressure, pull up the lever, and the arm of that will lock back in right to the follower. And then you're going to place the stock back on, drop the trigger assembly directly in, Slap down hard, cycle once to ensure that it's working correctly. And that's how you disassemble and assemble an M1 Garand. Things you ought to know: definitely don't use modern full-powered ammunition in this rifle, folks. You will blow up your investment if you're not careful. Generally speaking, bullet weights above 178 grains will bend an operating rod. That's a $200 expenditure, and so you want to avoid that if you can. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the tabletop review, and make sure you have a good night. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.